Welcome to Hawks and Lavender Rose, a heart-centered podcast dedicated to community through the foundation of love, trust, and advocacy for conscious living. I am your host, Shauna Gulbrand. I, along with my guests and guest co-hosts, are excited to bring you topics that affect our everyday lives as we share wisdom, awareness, experience, and the practice of vulnerability.
Welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Shauna Gulbrand. I want to thank you all for being here and sharing a space with me. I want to thank you for making this podcast part of your day today. It is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020, and we are in day I don't know what of quarantine and social distancing. I noticed that my hair is like super long, and I think I'm liking it. I think when I can finally go back and see my lovely hairdresser, Lindsay, I'm going to say to her, just trim it, but definitely highlight it. I mean, wow, it's gotten so dark. Anyway, I'm not here today to talk to you about my hair, even though I'm liking it. I'm here today to talk to you about a topic that has plagued me my whole life. All right, maybe that's kind of a harsh word. My name is Shauna Gulbrand, and for most of my life, I have cared what other people think about me. Shocking! I have moments of I don't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks about what I'm going to say and do or how I'm going to act. But I also have moments of pause. And I've been feeling deeper into these moments of pause, and I've discovered some things that I want to share with you today. Okay. First of all, my childhood, because everything goes back to there. I want to be very clear that I love my parents deeply, and I do not blame them for anything. Yes, they played a role, but I don't blame them. I've been working extensively with the energy of forgiveness for over a decade now, and it's interesting because sometimes I realize I'll have a trigger and I realize, wow, I don't think I've completely forgiven yet, but I'm working on it. Okay, my parents, your parents, everybody's parents, including us, we're all doing the best that we can with the knowledge and the understanding that we have in any given moment. I understand that my parents were doing the best that they could when they were raising me. They were conditioned, their parents were conditioned, and so far and so on and so on, right? You keep going back. Everyone is conditioned to some degree. And I am one of the types of people that believes that we choose our parents, we choose our family for the lessons that we're here to learn. Okay, so let me just say that right out. Madeline and Kevin, I love you both dearly. And I'm so grateful that you're both still very much alive and happy and healthy. There's no way that I could do this work without looking back on my childhood. It has become a passion for me at 53. Well, okay, so I've shared with you that it's been over a decade now of self-discovery. But what I'm saying is, I feel really strongly about doing all of this soul work, about understanding more about myself, getting to know myself on a deeper level. And to do that, I need to understand my childhood a little bit more. When I was a kid, it was really important what other people thought. I remember hearing comments such as, stop that, so-and-so is watching, or keep your voice down, or don't say that, so-and-so is listening. So what happened was I started to connect the reactions of other people to my behavior. And I started living for other people. I started to make decisions based on what other people might see or understand or accept or not accept. I was living in this place of, I need to be mindful of what I think, say, and do, so that whoever's watching, whoever's looking, it would be accepted in their eyes. I spent a great deal of my childhood gaining approval, explaining myself. How can I say this? I want to really press the fact that all of this is said from a place of love and compassion for my family. Okay, so I didn't think this was going to be such a challenge, but it is a challenge. I needed to explain myself a lot when I was a kid. And I understand that parents need to know what's going on and where their kids are. And I feel that the amount of questioning and criticisms and disbelief were a little bit higher in my house growing up. I remember, and I'm still like this today, needing to explain myself or needing approval or acceptance of what I'm about to say and do. Just now, even now, recently, in a conversation with my parents. Now, you have to please keep this in mind. This is not about my parents. This is about me. Because it's always about me. Sometimes it is, but I'm kidding. Okay. I was with my parents, and I'm noticing me. I'm observing. It's like I step out of myself, and I'm witnessing what's happening with me. And even today, at 53 years old, I notice that I am justifying my decisions, explaining why I made a certain decision, why I said a certain thing, why I did a certain thing. And it's very clear to me now that this has been a pattern of behavior for my whole life. I, most of the time, don't care what other people think. But in the moments that I do, this is what I've discovered. I am looking for approval. I am looking for the green light. I am looking to be accepted and liked, wanted, needed. There's something that plays a big role here, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but the inner child plays a big, big role. And I have been doing extensive work with my inner child, and I know the roles she plays. And she is playing a role here as well, but I don't want to get into that. That's another conversation. What I'm discovering is that I am at my most powerful when I am not seeking or needing external approval. I am at my most powerful when I am not seeking external approval. When I remind myself that I am my own authority, and the only person that I need to check in with before moving forward in regards to an action or words is myself. I am witnessing when I have a pause in regards to expression, right? So if I'm about to write something, say something, do something, even something as like posting on social media, if there's a pause, I'm beginning to notice the pause, number one, so self-awareness, and then asking myself what that's all about. Now, sometimes I am understanding that it's my inner child and she has needs, and these needs are looking to be filled. But what I'm also noticing is that every time I pause any form of my expression, I am dulling my light and I am giving my power away. I am giving my power to the other person. My thoughts, my energy goes out to what ifs. So here I'm about to say something, and I'm in my mind thinking, well, if so-and-so watches this, what will they think? Will they accept what I'm saying here? Will they judge me? Will they criticize me? And what happens often is then I stop myself from expression because of this fear of what someone else might think. Does that make sense? Is this making sense? Like, it makes sense in my head and in my body, trying to get it out so you may be able to understand or relate. That's another story. And I'm going to try not to say what I discovered is I can't really shine bright enough unless other people accept it. Well, who cares if, first of all, you can't please everybody. That is for damn sure. Sometimes when I'm teaching yoga, my thought, my energy, my spirit goes out to someone in the class, and I get all up in my head about what they might think of how I'm teaching, of the postures that I'm doing, of the words that I'm sharing, of the direction that I'm giving. And what happens is I end up losing myself in my head, and I don't teach as good of a class as I could if I stay in my body. So this is just an example. My energy goes out to someone, and I think, what are they thinking? Are they enjoying this? Do I need to change anything so I can gain their approval? Whereas when I teach classes fully in my body, moving in a way my body wants to move, expressing the words that my soul is needing to express, I have my best classes. When I don't have that need for external approval, when I can fill that need within myself, then I am at my most powerful. I am at my most powerful when I do not seek or need external approval. You are at your most powerful when you do not seek or need approval, external approval. When you become your own authority. And like with anything, these have been practices for me. I am in this place now, which I'm really loving, and I truly am embracing this whole quarantine time, of recognizing active patterns within me and patterns of thought and behavior that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. I'm witnessing it, I'm feeling it, I'm sensing it, and I'm creating new practices to help me live to my full potential and to live the best life possible. Just the realization alone that I have been living a lot of my life for other people is upsetting. I don't want to be on my deathbed 40 years from now, because I think I'm going to go to 93. That's my guess. Regretting the fact that I made decisions based on the needs and the happiness of other people. I don't want to be on my deathbed thinking, I allowed myself to really care what other people think. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to check in. So if I got my hair cut tomorrow, which unfortunately I can't, I might say to my husband, what do you think? Do you like it? And he might say, I didn't even notice. Or he might say, looks the same. Or he might say, yeah, it looks really good, honey. So there is that part, I believe, in all of us that does need or want the external approval to a degree. yes, it's a wonderful thing for my husband to say, your haircut looks fantastic. But it's something even more when he can say to me, well, do you like it? Because it's your hair. And if you like it, that's all that really matters. And he's right. And I just felt something from the inner child come up. Again, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go off topic and start talking about her, because everything that's been happening, I'm feeling like I could talk for an hour about my inner child. So there's this place, there's a time and a place for, caring what other people think. So say I just taught a class. I might say at the end of class, all right, so what y'all think about that? And I may receive a variety of opinions and feedback. Now, what I do with that is, do I start to take it personally? Well, sometimes I do. But that's another practice, right, of not taking things personally. I view all the opinions and the feedback from a place of neutrality, and then base decisions going forward on that. So, there's the adjustment. So I noticed that some people didn't like this. So yes, in a way, I do care what people think. And there is a level of importance there. So then I can adjust going forward. No, they didn't really like this, so I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to bring this into the class. But then there is this habit of caring enough what other people think that it stops you from shining your light. It stops you from expression. It stops me from expression. I discovered as well that I am using this pattern of behavior or pattern of thought as a form of distraction for me. This past couple of weeks, ever since a couple of friends on social media posted about distractions, talking about working from home and what sort of distractions we have in our life when we're supposed to be working and we're at home all the time. So I started to pay attention more to the way that I distract myself. And it wasn't pleasant, I'm not going to lie. I wrote out a list yesterday. I've been thinking of things, but yesterday I finally wrote out a list of ways that I distract myself. And I thought, ew, why am I doing this? First thing I did was I took it all and brought it back to a place of heart-centered love for myself. I'm in a place of discovery, and I'm going to be until the last breath that I take. It's really important to hold our discoveries in a place of love, compassion, understanding, and acceptance of self. This is my opinion about this. I have been using this habit of caring about what other people think as a means of distraction for me. So let me see if I can explain this a little bit. I know what it feels like in my body, and I know what it sounds like and looks like in my head. There are relationships that I have in my life that at some points we're really close, and then we move away, and sometimes we come back again, and then we move away. But these relationships are not active relationships. I'm not in an active relationship with these people, meaning I don't speak to them often enough for them to know everything that's going on in my life and find out what's going on in their life. I guess you could bring it to almost a level of acquaintance, and that's fine. I don't really need to label that right now. So what I'm noticing is I start thinking about these relationships. My energy, my spirit, my thought go to this relationship, whatever it is, and I spend a lot of time there. I think, well, I'm not going to get into all of what I think. Just trust me when I say I send my energy out into a lot of questions, and I start to create stories in my mind. And then what happens is I'm creating the story upon story upon story upon story. Then resentment settles in, and maybe some irritability. Okay, so there's that. But what I've noticed, especially when it comes to shining my light brightly on social media, is I allow my energy, my spirit, my thoughts to go to this one particular relationship, and there are a few of them. And I spend a lot of time there. The past couple of weeks have brought me to this place of, why am I spending so much time thinking about this relationship that in the moment is unnecessary? What is causing me to spend so much time thinking about this and then wondering what they're thinking about me, what they think about how I express myself? Right back to, I'm caring about what other people think. During a meditation over the past couple of days, what came up, and I need to do a little bit more work around this, is perhaps they are a parent figure for me. And once again, going back to the inner child, there's that part of her that is reaching out for a closer relationship that was at the time. And at some point, I must have felt like a child in that relationship, and that person was my parent figure. And here I am, back in this place of, is it okay if I go forward with? Can I do this? Do you give me the okay? Do I have permission? Wow, how interesting. I have been putting it out there to pretty much everybody I've been talking to lately and asking them, what are you giving yourself permission to do today? What are you giving yourself permission to do today? And here I am looking to unnecessary relationships, wondering if they'll give me permission, if they'll still accept me, if they'll still love me, if they'll still want to be my friend. It's crazy. It's exhausting. And I'm using it as a means of distraction. I asked myself, okay, say you weren't thinking about this person as much as you are. What are you going to do in that time? What are you going to do with that time? And that brought me right back to the present moment and the creation, my purpose, my passion, my potential. And sometimes that's overwhelming. So it's this balance of empowerment and feeling like a child, right? So it's that parent and that child, even though children can feel empowered too. I don't know, maybe I didn't say that right. I got to work into that a little bit more. But I know my inner child is playing a role here. I would love to hear from you. If you're relating to this, if anything I've said, you've been like, oh yeah, I do that as well. Great, I would love to hear from you. What is your story? What's super important to me right now is to remember that when I'm in a place and I'm sending my energy out, wondering what someone else might think, to remind myself that I am fully empowered. I feel most powerful when I do not need or seek external approval. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg in regards to this topic, and it actually frightened me a little to even talk about this today, because there's a part of me that doesn't want to admit, because I'm always like, oh, don't give a shit what anybody thinks. So I'm preaching it, but I'm not practicing it. And it's been uncomfortable through these discoveries of, wow, I really am still doing this, and I've been doing it for most of my life. It's a yucky feeling. So I bring it all back. I love myself anyway. I offer compassion, understanding, and acceptance of this pattern within me. That little girl within me who was taught to believe that it's important what other people think. I have conformed more times than I would like to admit, because we, my inner child and I, needed to feel like we fit in, that we were wanted, accepted, needed, approved of. And perhaps some of the needing to explain myself all the time is playing a role. Because in reality, and this is another topic that I want to talk about, I project out into the future potential conversations. Do any of you do that? Do you find yourself looping a conversation with someone you may talk to? So I do that. I do that a lot. Another pattern. Especially if my inner child thinks that I did or said something wrong because I hadn't gained approval first. Then I feel the need to have to explain myself, to explain my decision on why I'm bringing this message. Like today, I don't know what my inner child is going to do, but later on when I start posting things on social media, I might feel, oh boy, do I have to explain to everybody why we're doing this? Like, maybe some people are going to think I'm totally crazy, and that means that I'm going to have to come up with a story and justify my reasons, justify is another word, and justify my reasons for doing what I do. That's her. That's that little girl inside me. Today, I don't have to justify jack shit to anybody but myself. All right, so I'm going to go back to the inner child, I think a lot, over the next several months. I wanted to bring this topic of conversation in, and to ask you and to talk to you about whether you care about what other people think. Be honest with yourself. I'm in my imagination, I think that some of you are saying, I don't care what anybody thinks. Like that, maybe shaking your head a little bit. Well, sure, I can say that just as easy as you can. But if you feel into it, and if you do a little reflection, are you noticing you're dulling your light at all? Are you, how do I want to put this? Are you pausing? Are you stopping yourself? Are you second guessing on moving forward with thought, word, or action because you're wondering what someone might think? If you are, then you care what other people think. And you're giving your power away. Remember, you will feel your most powerful when you do not seek or need external approval. I know I've said that a million times, but that's a mantra that is in my mind that I repeat often. All right. I don't know if there's anything else I have to say at this moment besides inviting you to step more fully into your power by understanding what makes you tick. If you notice that you are seeking external approval, shower yourself with love and understanding and acceptance, and remind yourself that you are here to shine your light as bright as you can. You are here to live in full expression of who you are. You are here to live a life for you, and whatever that means. Again, I invite you to recognize the moments where you may be giving your power away. invite you to recognize the moments where you might be pausing because you're worried about what someone might think. People are going to talk, so you might as well give them something to talk about. You, in full expression of who you are. All right. I think I'm going to end it there. I would love to know your thoughts. And yes, I would like to know if this resonated with you. I know I'm not alone in this. I love my family. I accept what my childhood was, and I am currently working directly with my inner child, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful practice. I'm going to be recording, I can't say how many, but I will be recording more episodes about the inner child as well, as I go deeper into a relationship with mine. All right, so one last time, repeat after me. I am at my most powerful when I do not seek or need external approval. Let your light shine, people. Let your light shine in full expression of who you are. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for giving me the space to be authentic, honest, and vulnerable. My hope is that these podcasts, my words, my message will inspire you to shine more brightly and to live a life for you. All right, community, thank you so much. Love you all, and I'll see you soon.